Hey, welcome to Josh and Kristie Stealing the Internet. I'm Josh.
I'm Kristie. We've got some Reddit stories for you, so let's just jump right into the first one.
Am I the asshole for making my sister's gender reveal cake gray because she wouldn't tell me the gender?
I feel like that's on the sister, so no, not the asshole.
I, 23 male, bake as a hobby, and I'm actually pretty good at it. Like, I get paid under the table for weddings and baby showers kind of good. My sister is pregnant and wanted me to make the cake for her gender reveal. Cool, no problem. I asked her to send me the info so I could prep the inside classic pink or blue filling. She says, oh no, I want to be surprised too. Just make it neutral for the reveal and we'll all find out together.
What? How does that even make sense? Someone's got to know beforehand.
Maybe you can bake an envelope into it? I don't
know. How do you reveal the gender if nobody knows what it is beforehand? Someone's got to know to, make the reveal.
It's got to be the person that's making the cake.
Yeah.
I was like, huh? So you want a gender reveal cake with no gender revealed. She says she'll have someone email the info to me later.
Okay, well that makes sense, I guess, but...
That someone never did. Deadline comes and I still have no gender, so I make the cake. It's gray inside, gray outside, just full-on cement vibes. I even added little fondant clouds for effect. It still tasted great, but visually, grim as hell.
Like a little rain cloud cake.
The reveal day comes, they cut into it, and my sister looks pissed. Her husband is confused. People start murmuring. Then she pulls me aside like, why would you make it gray? That's so passive-aggressive.
She said neutral. Gray is neutral.
Calmly reminded her that no one told me the gender. I literally had no data to work with. I told her I wasn't about to guess or go full improv on someone's baby cake. Now my mom says I embarrassed her in front of the family, and that I should have tried harder. Tried harder to do what? Summon the gender through vibes? So, am I the asshole for making the most neutral reveal cake in history?
A little bit, yeah. I do feel like you should have, gotten back to your sister and been like, hey, I still don't have the gender. Hey, I still don't have the gender. Keep reminding her until she gives you the gender, or has that other person give you the gender. Also making it, just gray is, kind of an asshole move. You could do, gender-neutral green and yellow on the outside. Why does it have to be gray? That's so grim, as he said. It was grim.
That's pure passive aggression.
Yeah, I feel like he's the asshole in this. He definitely should have tried harder to get the gender from his sister. It doesn't sound like he really tried at all. He's just like, I don't have it. Oh, well. Also, you could have still made the cake look nice and not gray and gross.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, if she didn't give me the gender, I would have put green inside and confused everybody and been like, it's a monster. I don't know.
Confetti cake inside or something?
Yeah.
And then there is an edit.
Okay.
So I actually did follow up, asked her a couple days before the reveal if the info had been sent, and she just said something like, yeah, someone's taking care of it. I figured it was handled. I didn't want to pester her since she seemed chill about it at the time.
This seems like something you pester her about.
It absolutely seems like you're justified in pestering her and be like, hey, I don't have this info. Don't be like, hey, is someone going to send it? And she just goes, yeah, someone should send it. No, be like, I don't have it.
Uh-huh.
You're getting a yellow cake.
Yeah.
It's going to be cake colored inside, and he's too chill about this.
What was even the point of making the cake at all if you didn't have the gender reveal?
It's nice to have a cake, I guess.
Yeah, he's the asshole on this. He should have pestered his sister more. She's a little bit the asshole, too, for not making sure he had the information, but he's super the asshole for being so passive-aggressive about it.
Gray is a statement.
Yeah.
Yeah, Reddit agrees.
Okay.
He's definitely the asshole for not trying harder to get the gender. Top comment is, it's a little before he made that update, but I'm confused. Did you not take the opportunity to message as the date was coming closer to tell your sister, hey, I haven't gotten the info on the gender? Do you check on this? His update even isn't very aggressive in that category.
One time said I didn't have the gender, and she's like, yeah, we're working on it.
Yeah, someone's working on it.
Yeah.
my doctor's gonna send you the info, it sounds like, and maybe she didn't get the email right. Yeah, this is, you have to pester her a little more if you want the asshole title to move over to her.
Yeah, like, he still could have made a cute baby cake for, like, the party. You know, it didn't have to be gray.
Yeah, make like a, realistic baby cake that you can cut into.
No, I was thinking, like, just pink and blue,
That sounds
green
much
and
fun.
yellow baby colors. Not an actual baby.
And then he did reply to it with pretty much his update saying, like, I did message her once. She seemed chill about it, so I didn't follow up. If she really wanted the gender in the cake, she could have double checked too. I was relying on the system she set up, and it just didn't come through. And then below that is like 100 deleted comments. So I really wonder what kind of fight happened in this Reddit thread.
And the moderators were like, nope,
Yep.
That's all gotta go.
It's very clear that the moderators stepped in and are like, we're locking this down to people with high enough karma. This post got heated.
All right, next story. Am I the asshole for telling my neighbor she should check her husband and not me?
I'm going to say no, because it sounds like you're getting dragged into some marital drama that is not yours.
I'm deep cleaning my house when my neighbor shows up at my doorstep. She introduces herself, which is fine since she's new to the neighborhood. But then she drops a bombshell. She says, I make her feel uncomfortable. I'm taken aback since we've never spoken before, and I've lived here for 13 years with no issues. When I asked what I'm doing to make her uncomfortable, she says it's the way I dress while cleaning, and her husband has been watching me from their window.
That's terrifying. Get blinds and pull them closed in front of your husband, because I don't want him staring at me while I'm working.
I look down at my outfit, a sports bra and shorts, and ask if that's what she's referring to. She confirms it. I'm confused and tell her maybe she should be concerned about her husband's behavior and that I'm not bothering anyone in my own home. I suggest she should check her husband because that's weird behavior. She gets mad and wants to cause a scene. Am I the asshole? Does anyone else find the situation weird? I should add that I do have curtains blocking most of my windows, but I like a small gap for natural light, which I think is how her husband has been seeing me.
So she's even inside.
Yes, she is inside her home.
What is essentially pajamas for some women. Yeah.
Like what you would wear to the gym.
Yeah. A lot of, like, that became the trend when we were in college to just be, like, sports bra and shorts when you're at the gym or hanging out in your dorm room.
Everything's fully covered, that needs to be in her own home.
In her own home with the blinds mostly closed. You're not the asshole. What? No. Don't be staring through people's windows.
Yeah, like, neighbor's husband is giving major creeper vibes.
Absolutely.
There is an update, but I want to read some of the top comments before we get to it.
Okay.
NTA, you should tell her, thank you for letting me know your husband is a peeping Tom pervert. Seems like the neighborhood is going downhill with him moving in.
Right. Post a message on the neighborhood Facebook group and being like, hey, just so you know, there's somebody who's been looking through my blinds.
And it's this guy.
Yeah, so just wanted everyone to watch out.
Wanted all the ladies in the neighborhood to be aware of this pervert that's watching people through their windows.
Absolutely. You know how many times I have been like, I can make it from the bathroom to my bedroom in just this towel?
Mm-hmm.
Like, no one's gonna see me.
Another comment, NTA, there's only one thing that disgusts me more than cheating men, and that's wives who would go on to blame any mildly attractive woman for provoking their husband, when the girl in question is just living her normal life. And the worst part is trying to shame and hurt you just for that. So yeah, I hate wives that are like trying to control what other women do because they can't control their husbands.
Absolutely.
All right, the update. I've notified some of my neighbor friends about the situation, so everyone is pretty much on guard and my husband will be home this weekend. I've made a police report and reached out to their landlord and all is calm for now. She did approach another neighbor about me and how rude I was to her. But I have yet to even see her husband other than when he is getting in his car. But I see her constantly and she is always staring. Thank you everyone for the advice. I truly appreciate it.
Was husband even staring or was it her staring?
I don't know.
And she's like, I don't want my husband to stare.
Yeah, that's another thing. It could be just the wife is paranoid that her husband is going to stare, but he's like totally oblivious, maybe.
Yeah, just something about the way she wrote that of like, I've seen her husband in passing, but he's never staring. Like,
yeah,
I've never caught the husband staring, but I see her staring a lot. And that makes me wonder if the wife is just like, that's going to distract my husband.
Anyways, I feel like the neighbor needs therapy or something. Maybe couples counseling. It's not OP's problem, though. She's just cleaning in her home in A comfortable outfit.
The police report is smart.
Yes.
There's nothing the police can do at this point,
But
but
it's nice to have a
the
paper trail.
report on file that, they've been like this.
Mm-hmm.
You handled it very well, and I like that she did the tell the rest of the neighborhood method.
Mm-hmm. I like that too.
Am I the asshole for grounding my stepdaughter for selling my formal dress?
No. If it wasn't hers to sell, it sounds like, no, not the asshole.
I, 37 female, have a stepdaughter, Amy, 16 female. Amy was looking for formal dresses, and I mentioned that I have my old formal dresses. She picked my old prom dress to wear, and she has kept it in her wardrobe since wearing it at prom. I don't fit in my old dresses anymore, and I kept them and some other clothes to hand down to my kids. However, I have 2 sons who aren't interested. Since my nieces, 15 female and 13 female, are interested in my clothes, I plan to give them the rest once they were old enough to fit them. Amy left her earbuds in her sweatpants pocket and turned on the washing machine.
I've done that.
We've all done that. When she asked for new ones, me and her dad told her to save up to buy new ones. She works part-time, as she wanted an expensive brand new pair and not the wired earphones I had offered. Amy went to stay with her mom, and when she got back, she had the new earbuds she wanted. So I asked if her mom had bought them for her, and she said she had resold my dress on a second-hand site and bought herself the earphones. The dress is 100% silk, one of a kind, and the brand doesn't exist anymore.
Ooh.
I was really upset to hear she had sold my dress without even asking.
Yeah. Okay, keep going.
I confiscated her earbuds and told her I would give them back when she repaid me the cost of what she sold the dress for. My husband thinks I am being too harsh, as I wasn't explicit on whether I was lending or giving her the dress.
That's what I was thinking.
Amy has gone to live with her mom since, and thinks I am being unfair. I am not sure if I have taken it too far, and if I should stand my ground.
Yeah, I was wondering whether she explicitly said, I'm lending this to you, or I'm giving this to you.
Right.
Because that makes a huge difference. But she was letting the stepdaughter keep the stepdaughter was keeping the dress in her closet, which kind of makes it seem like it was her dress now.
Yeah.
So I can kind of understand the stepmother did not demand it back and be like, okay, now that you're done wearing it, it's still mine. She left it with the stepdaughter, which kind of makes it seem like it's the stepdaughter's property. And if she wants to sell it, it is still a little bit rude to sell someone else's sentimental dress without double checking that they don't want it back. So a little bit of everybody sucks here.
Yeah, that's fair, I think. I agree. You got to be clear. By letting her keep it, it kind of seemed like you were giving it away, and her only explanation for wanting to keep it was that she was going to give it to her nieces.
Yeah.
So why can't she give it to this, stepdaughter?
I do also think that she just didn't like that stepdaughter was getting around saving money for the new headphones by selling her items,
Yeah,
so.
Which is absolutely true, but also, I guess, you sold something you didn't want, and instead of hoarding everything, that's kind of a good way to live.
Yeah. You need money, sell something to get the money. It seems, yeah. Good budgeting.
But I understand that it was sentimental to her, and there is that aspect of hey, this is, my prom dress. It was your prom dress, and, it means too much to me. I want to keep it. There's that, right?
Yeah.
You give something to somebody and they turn around and sell it, that's hurtful.
That is hurtful, yeah. So, but our teenagers don't always think, that clearly they are not long-sighted, they're short-sighted, I want this now, so I'm and a lot of times teenagers just don't take other people's feelings into consideration.
Oh.
They just have not learned how to do that yet. Teenagers are not considerate sometimes.
Well, it's just because you haven't had that situation happen. You haven't passed down your old prom dress to somebody, so why would you know that that there's all these protocols to attach to it? But I think it's a lot on her for not being clear that, this is not your dress.
So everybody sucks here, but I don't entirely blame the stepdaughter. It's on her, too.
I mostly blame her.
Yeah, for not being clear.
Yeah, not being the adult and being like, hey, this is my dress. Making it after there's a problem is too late.
Yeah.
And Reddit disagrees with us.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, they say not the asshole.
Oh, okay.
Top comment. Oh, hell no, not the asshole. I'd be livid at Amy if she were my kid or stepdaughter. She's lucky she's not getting worse punishment. Your consequences fit perfectly. I would be very careful about her stealing other things of mine.
But she wasn't stealing, necessarily. She didn't think she was stealing. She thought it was her dress and she was going to sell it.
Absolutely.
She didn't think, I'm selling, this belongs to my stepmom and I'm selling it. She thought stepmom gave this to me and I'm selling it.
Yeah. That's how I imagine Amy thinking about this.
Yeah.
Right? It's not like she just went around the house and, found expensive things.
Uh-huh.
This was in her closet.
Yeah.
This is her territory. This is a dress that, she thought was given to her. It's a little rude to sell it, but it's not. I don't think she did anything, legally wrong.
I don't know. If the stepmom didn't explicitly say she was giving it to her and not lending, it might be legally. I feel like this could be fought in court, but...
This is way too gray of an area.
Yeah.
But yeah. And I think a few people do say something along those lines. There were a few comments below this that were like, she's lucky that OP isn't going to the police with this, which is way extreme.
That's extreme, yeah.
But that's Reddit, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, everyone kind of sucks here, but I feel like stepmom sucks more.
Yeah. Am I the asshole for not letting my mother-in-law come over after she destroyed my Millennium Falcon Lego set?
Oh no. Hold on. So, Legos are notoriously hard to destroy. So, did she just disassemble it?
I think she just smashed it. He'd have to rebuild it. Not like she threw it in a furnace and melted it.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. Is this is a hard one. I want to say that you're not the asshole, but I feel like the type of person who has that expensive Millennium Falcon Lego set might overreact to something small. So let's find out.
I, 38 male, live with my wife, 37 female, and my 7-year-old son. I work as an engineer and my wife is a senior supervisor at a law firm. I have always loved Legos since I was a kid, and sure, it's kind of childish, but it makes me happy, so I've kept it up as a consistent hobby throughout my adult life. In 2024, I spent months building a Millennium Falcon with my son. It's me and my son's pride and joy, and I often show guests who come over. My wife doesn't really get the hype, but she doesn't mind either. In early March, my wife's parents came over for a week to spend time with us. As I usually do with guests, I asked if they would like to see my Lego collection. They agreed, and I showed both her father and mother my Millennium Falcon. Her father was amazed at the time it took to build my sizable collection, but her mother said that it was a waste of time and I should focus on being a real man and move up the corporate ladder.
You need some tools. You need a table saw.
No, he's supposed to move up the corporate ladder. I think she wants him to focus more on work and be a workaholic.
Be a real man, neglect your family, take up drinking, get that paycheck. Don't build things with your son.
I laughed it off because she's pretty old and I figured she just held very old-fashioned beliefs. We left the room and nobody really mentioned it for a few hours, but at dinner, her mother said out of nowhere that I should give up all this Lego nonsense and be a real man. We ignored this and moved on, but you could see in her expression that she was not happy.
Sorry, what was his job again?
An engineer.
An engineer, okay. Exactly the job that you would expect someone that has Lego collection to have.
He is being very stereotypical about his job and hobby selections.
I build things at work, and I build things at home.
Nobody said anything about it for the rest of their stay, and all seemed well the morning they left. They left at 3 a.m. to catch a flight, and we waved them off. I went back to bed, but the next morning awoke to find my Millennium Falcon smashed to pieces with a note from my wife's mother, calmly saying that this was for my own good, so that I can be a real man and focus on what matters.
That's insane.
It turns out she had quietly destroyed it in the night and left in the morning. Me, and especially my son, were very upset. I called her in the morning, but she refused to apologize. I said that until she apologized, they would not be coming back again. My wife is not happy with my decision on this matter, and honestly, I'm starting to wonder if I overreacted. Did I go overboard, or am I in the right? There is an update, but first, your thoughts.
I have to say, you're not the asshole. You can't just smash somebody else's stuff because you think that it's a dumb hobby.
Right.
It's not hurting anything. And the more important thing is that he built that with his son. So this is grandma smashing her grandkid's toy.
Right? I'm like, what grandmother would do that to their grandson?
Absolutely. This is something that you do. It's your hobby, but you do it with your son, too. Mm-hmm. It was a son, right?
Yes.
Okay.
7-year-old son.
Yeah, a 7-year-old son. This is an activity you do as father and son.
Bonding.
And look, we built this cool thing. It took us months. This was months of time that I got to spend with my son. And grandma's like, don't spend time with your son, climb the corporate ladder.
And smashes it.
There's no scenario where if you smash my kid's toy, where I would let you back into my house.
Right? Like, and what is all this about? Be a man that grandma's going on about. Like, yeah Legos are kind of childish, but it is a harmless hobby. It's not hurting anybody. And everybody needs a hobby to unwind, you know?
Be a man. Take up drinking.
Yeah, I think mother-in-law is a little bit insane.
A little bit.
All right, and then the update. Mother-in-law refuses to back down over destroyed Lego Millennium Falcon. First of all, I want to thank everyone for the outpouring of support. It's been wonderful. Seeing everyone's advice has helped me realize a few things. I had a good long talk with my wife in an attempt to resolve this situation, and we've again called the mother-in-law, which I hoped would diffuse the situation and bring things back down to earth. Instead, tensions have seemed only to have escalated. Firstly, after lunch, my wife and I discussed the situation, adult to adult. I expressed my feelings of her not being behind me in this. She admitted to harboring feelings against my Lego collection. She also admitted to secretly agreeing partially with her mother.
It does make me wonder if he's spending too much on Legos.
She doesn't think that my mother-in-law should have gone as far as she did. Oh, but first of all, but he's an engineer and she's like she's some kind of lawyer.
Yeah.
It seems like they make good money. He can probably afford Legos.
Probably, unless they have, like, it depends a lot on their mortgage and things, right?
Mm-hmm. The lifestyle.
Yeah. Also, I would like to point out that the Lego Millennium Falcon is $850.
Yeah. It's very expensive. She doesn't think that my mother-in-law should have gone as far as she did, but according to my wife, I need to move on. I feel hurt by this since it's been my lifelong hobby, and being an engineer, I take great joy in building various creations with Legos. After that, my wife and I were certainly not in agreement, but we were at least on the same page. We also both wanted to resolve things with my mother-in-law, so that day we called her mother and things did not go well, to say the least. I simply told her that I was sorry I had not let her come back, and I hope things can be resolved quickly. Still feeling upset about the Lego Millennium Falcon, I said that all I asked of her was an apology. She refused, saying that if she bends for me at all, I would never get over my Lego obsession. My wife is not happy with any of this, and frankly, the marriage is starting to show tensions, which worries me greatly. She seems to be more distant after all of this. My son has developed a strong disliking of the mother-in-law, and I can't really blame him. She's been getting a little bit crazy these days. Should we start considering a senior home for her? So that's the update. Things are getting even worse, and I'm not sure if I can salvage the situation. I'll update everyone when new developments occur. That's it for now, though.
Okay. Well, it seems like wife thinks that your Lego obsession is going a little too far, so maybe you do need to take a little bit of a step back and look at your Lego collection, like how much of the house is Legos.
How much has he been spending on it? Yeah.
Yes.
But smashing Legos is not the solution.
That's an immature reaction.
Mm-hmm.
No, smashing it and then saying, this is the only way you'll learn, is not a good behavior.
No.
So, I can say that mother-in-law is definitely an asshole. In this instance, you are not the asshole, but the amount of concern that your wife has over the Legos makes me wonder if there's anything there.
Mm-hmm.
But from the information that has been presented by him, no, you're not the asshole. And once again, it's a lot about the kid.
Yeah, I was like, the kid is going to resent his grandma for the rest of his life.
Absolutely. If I have something nice, grandma might smash it if she doesn't like it.
Mm-hmm. Yep, he will never trust grandma again, and he's not going to want to hang out with her. Grandma really ruined her relationship with her grandson here.
Yes, absolutely. I think that's the safest angle to look at it from.
Yeah.
This one is from Best of Redditor Updates, and it was originally posted on Our Legal Advice.
Okay.
Company car I was driving was hit by a drunk driver. Insurance fully paid for the car, but the company says I still owe them $40,000.
No. This sounds terrible.
I was on my way home from work in my company car when I was hit almost head-on by a drunk driver. He was found at fault by the police and the insurance company and was charged and convicted. His insurance settled with the company and gave them a payout to replace the car, which the company lawyer accepted. I am still off work recovering from my injuries, and I probably won't be back for 3 more months.
Whoa, that was really bad car accident.
Head-on crash.
Yeah.
Last month, I received a letter from the company stating I owed them the cost of the car because I was the one responsible for it when it was totaled and written off. I thought it was a mistake or something, so I called the insurance company, got written confirmation of the settlement, and sent it into them with a note that the car had already been paid for by the insurance company. Now they have sent me to a collection agency, and I have debt collectors calling saying I owe $40,000. I live in California. Do I call the insurance company to let them know, or do I need to get a lawyer? Is them calling the debt collector even legal? Sorry if these questions are stupid, but I am already stressed enough from trying to recover, and this has just made it worse.
Yeah, I don't know what you do, but definitely contact insurance first, see what they say. And if they can't help you come up with a solution, you need to contact a lawyer.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
There is no world in which you paying that $40,000 is right or fair or probably legal.
And then some of the comments are like, from, hey, this is legal advice.
Mm-hmm.
Try making some phone calls to your employer and the insurance company to see if you can get things straightened out quickly. But if you hit a brick wall, it's time to get an attorney involved. Don't let this go too long.
Yeah.
Which is absolutely right. And then OP replied to that. My employer tells me I have to talk to the debt collector since it is in their hands now. I'll call the insurance company first thing Monday morning to see what they say. They talked in comments a little bit, but it was mostly reiterating what the post said. And then, yeah, it sounds like someone at your employer screwed up. You need to work your way up the chain to find the person who can rescind the decision to send it to collections. The insurance company might be able to give you some leverage, documentation, contact info. All right, and then 2 months after that, there is an update.
Mm-hmm.
No one at the company or the collections agency would help me, and they just sent me back and forth. Company told me to talk to collections told me to talk to the company, so I ended up getting a lawyer because the stress of being hounded by collections was setting back my recovery. The lawyer sent a very strongly worded letter to someone high up that I couldn't reach myself because I kept getting the runaround. That person didn't know anything about it, and the company launched an investigation. The 3 people who kept giving me the runaround ended up being charged with fraud and a bunch of other stuff.
Yay!
I don't know much, but the police say they have emails and that they think the 3 were planning on keeping the payment for themselves since the company was already paid.
Yeah, right? I was like, where was that $40,000 going?
Yeah, like this is just, they want double money. You don't get double money.
Uh-huh.
They are also in trouble for fraudulently using company resources to send me to collections for a fake debt. Afterward, my company wrote me a letter of apology. They paid the cost for my lawyer and made sure the debt was removed from my record.
Good. I was going to be like, somebody needs to pay for his lawyer.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a large enough company that there is a gap in communications.
Yeah.
They also made a donation to a charity of my choice. I am nearly ready to return to work, but they told me to take as much time as I need, which is...
please don't sue us.
It's corporate speak for please don't sue us. After talking with the police, I believe the higher-ups were not aware because the police say the 3 were trying to keep it a secret. The drunk driver's insurance is paying all my bills related to the incident, so I won't have debt for this ever.
That's good.
And then all in all, I'm doing much better. I would like to thank our legal advice and everyone who offered advice and encouragement and sent me supportive messages. You were all so helpful, and I appreciate it. I'm
glad he got that sorted out, and I'm not surprised that it was someone being fraudulent and trying to make extra money and keep it themselves.
Yeah, it's some sort of incompetence in the chain or some sort of corruption in the chain because you don't get paid for the car twice.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's the point of insurance. And then one of the top comments. I'm always surprised by how little it takes people to risk going to jail. 40K split 3 ways is less than 15K each.
Yeah. Like, that's not worth it.
No, that is not worth it. Is it really worth the risk? I say if you're going to risk jail, do it for mad off money. $65 billion might be worth going to jail, not 15K.
Maybe they think the 15K is a small enough number that nobody will fight it and they won't get caught and have to go to jail.
Yeah, is this a regular thing?
I don't know. But I feel like even 15K is too much. You got to go for smaller amounts, like $200 here, $200 there. And, most people won't hire a lawyer for that.
Yeah, and no one know that's a rounding error.
Yeah.
Right? You gotta be like that Chicago lunch lady who stole like $1 million worth of chicken nuggets over time.
Yeah. I feel like, 40,000, someone's going to fight that with a lawyer and you're going to go to jail. You got to go a whole bunch of really small, amounts of money. Or really, really big to make it worth it.
40K, you could get away with that if you were billing a big company.
Yes, an individual, absolutely not.
Absolutely not for an individual, but a big company's gonna be, there's somebody there that's just signing the check and being like, I got a bill, here's a check. and it goes away.
Yeah, so these fraudsters at this company are real dumb.
Yeah. This seems like a bad instance to try to be doing this.
Mm-hmm. Am I the asshole for refusing to comply by my ex-wife's husband's rules about what my kids can eat so they can go to their mom's house? That is a very confusing title.
I'm not sure I fully understood it. You know, I'm sure it'll clear up in the story.
His kid's new stepdad
Yeah.
are setting up rules that he doesn't want to follow while the kids are at his house.
That's how I interpreted it. So
Okay.
like they can't, if they're eating meat at his house, they can't go to the vegan house or something like that. So up front, I'm going to say you're not the asshole. It's not his business what you feed your kids at your house.
Okay. My ex-wife and I, both in our 30s, divorced 7 years ago. We have 2 boys together, aged 8 and 9. My ex-wife remarried 2 years ago, and her husband brought his daughter and son into the marriage. About 5 months after they got married, my ex-husband sent me a list of foods I could not feed my kids because his daughter is allergic, and whenever my boys are at their house, his daughter struggles with her allergies.
Oh, so her allergies are so, like, her peanut allergy is so bad that the peanut butter on the boy's breath is making her allergies bad?
We'll find out.
Okay.
It sounds like yes.
That's different.
They're eating peanut butter at his house, and then they go to their mom's house, and their stepsister is struggling.
If it's just like she can't resist eating peanut butter because they keep talking about how good peanut butter is, then you're not the asshole. If they're like going back to their mom's house with peanut butter on their fingers and touching their stepsister, yeah, don't do that.
He said he heard it from my kids' mouths that they eat those things when they're with me. He said anyone coming into their home needs to avoid these foods, and that I must cut them from my kids' diet when they're at my house, which was every other week at this time. These include peanut butter, eggs, cheese, strawberries, and chocolate.
How many allergies does his daughter have? I guess that's a lot of things to be allergic to.
Mm-hmm.
Do those share some sort of characteristic?
No.
I didn't think so. I feel like I don't understand how them eating at another house is going to translate to the daughter no matter how bad her allergy is. And there must be something else she's allergic to that she's eating.
You don't think the dad's just lying?
I didn't consider that the dad was just lying. No, I thought the daughter was legitimately having a problem and the dad was going about solving it wrong.
At first I thought it was a joke, but I got an email from this man the next time my kids went to their mom's house berating me for not complying with his orders. Then my ex-wife tried to sue me for custody or for it to be placed in the court-ordered custody agreement that our boys could not eat those things. She lost the case on both counts. The judge told them that they could not decide on what I feed my kids. So, for the past year, my ex has not taken her parenting time with our kids. Her husband is not okay with them being there if they've eaten those things at my house. He said his daughter could die, and even if it's not that bad, she should not be made uncomfortable because a grown man-child with a petty grudge would not comply with keeping a child safe out of spite for the new father in his kids' lives. My ex blames me for not being a mom to our kids. She told me all I needed to do was follow the list, that everyone has to, and that she's already had some family members refuse. Our boys miss their mom, but not their mom's house. I have tried to plan for them to see each other, but she won't drive over here. She doesn't want to see them if they're not in her house for her custody time. They're not welcome while they eat these foods. And I'm not depriving them of that stuff just because this man orders me to. I have my boys in custody because of this madness. My ex didn't handle that too well, and she told me I'm being a dick and alienating the kids from her. She told me to follow the rules and let the boys have both of us. I just want to see what others outside of the equation will think. I have support from others, but these are people who know me. So, am I the asshole?
I gotta say no. I don't think that's how allergies work.
No, I was like, no matter how severe your allergies are, the most that the kids should have to do is wash their hands and face.
Yeah.
Change their clothes and brush their teeth.
Yeah, don't go to the house with like...
before they go to their mom's house.
Yeah, that's overdoing it to an acceptable level, right?
But like, you cannot eat these for a whole week before you come see your stepsister.
No.
Because she might have a reaction. That's not how allergies work.
No, this feels like mom is playing some weird game against the husband and making the kids a victim in it. If the daughter is having some sort of allergy problem, she must have like an extra allergy that they haven't diagnosed, right? Mm-hmm. It's not the boy's fault.
Yeah. So, people want to point out, top comment, does everyone in the girls' class have to abide by this list? It seems very strange that she should only have the reaction to people in her home. If her allergies are this severe, how is she going out in public?
I didn't even think about that part. Like, you can't walk through the mall because you might get hit by a peanut butter cloud or something.
By someone who ate peanut butter 3 days ago.
You walk by the Auntie Anne's and you smell... it always smells like pretzels. I don't remember if she was allergic to anything that's in a pretzel.
Eggs?
Eggs, yeah. There's an egg cloud somewhere.
Other comment, is the daughter licking your sons? Does the dad think that they sweat allergens? I don't see how there can be any cross-contamination unless the kids go over with cheeks full of contraband like chipmunks. How do they handle her going to school?
Yeah, that's exactly it. I was like, unless you're like feeding them peanut butter just before they go and they turn up with like hands covered in peanut butter.
Yeah, right? Please report to the courts that the mom isn't taking her time so you can get full custody and child support. NTA.
He mentioned something about having custody. I assumed that he meant he had some sort of legal custody, but yeah.
They were 50-50, but now she's not taking her 50%, so he just has them all the time. I don't think that it's like...
He hasn't reported it or anything?
No,
yeah, because she should be paying some sort of child support then.
Yeah. Making sure they don't take allergens over is one thing. Trying to control what your sons can eat when they're not there is insane.
Yeah, I will say, on the aspect of taking her to court to make her pay child support, the judge might say, hey, you gotta take, she might start trying to take her time just doing it, and the kids aren't happy over there. So maybe that's Dad's approach, is like, hey, for now, the best solution for the kids is to just let them, I don't need the child support money.
Yeah.
So I will just let the kids stay over here full time, and, that's better for the kids overall.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe he's doing the correct thing. How old were the kids?
7 and 9.
Okay, yeah, that's at the age where they can't really make their own decisions in this.
Yeah. And it's not just the boys. Even friends and family are expected to follow this rule, and some won't go to her house because of it.
Yeah, so, it sounds like if you go to their house, you might be legally liable for something. So why would you go there?
A lot of people on Reddit are also speculating that the new husband is like abusive, and this is his way of isolating her from her kids.
I feel like that's a lot of guesswork.
Yeah, so, but he is making sure that she doesn't spend time with her sons, and all of her attention is focused on his kids.
Oh, he seems like an asshole. I'm not debating that. I just feel like there's a few jumps in logic to that, but...
He's definitely controlling, though.
They're not big jumps.
Yeah. He is definitely very controlling.
He's definitely controlling. He's definitely doing some shenanigans to, like, try to take full custody of these kids and then failing, and he doesn't seem like a great guy.
No. It's like a huge overreaction to allergens. Like, I take allergies very seriously, and his reaction is insane.
Yes. That's a lot of things to cut out of a growing boy's diet.
Yeah.
That's a lot of easy proteins.
Mm-hmm. Eggs, peanut butter, cheese. And then strawberries and chocolates. Yummy things.
Yeah, right? Those are 5 delicious things. And things that would very restrict your diet. Eggs are so hard to cut out of a diet.
Yeah, like if it's not just like eggs, but like things that eggs are baked into, like bread.
Yeah, right?
It's so hard to find a bread that doesn't have eggs in it. Yeah.
Sounds like the kids are going to grow up healthier with him.
Yeah.
I love you, Internet.
Stop, I'm going to get jealous.
Internet has been in my life way longer than you have.
Oh.
Internet and me,
go way back.
All the way back to hamster dance, at least. Am I the asshole for not letting my best friend have her wedding on my property after being uninvited?
No. Why would she uninvite you but still want to hold it on your property? That's crazy. Okay, let me hear the drama.
One of my, 29 male, best friends, Carla, 31 female, is getting married soon. It's only meant to be a small backyard type of wedding, but they've been planning it for a few months now, and originally it was supposed to be on my property. They wanted it because it's private, has lots of open space for the reception, a nice view, and the house could be used for them to get ready and stuff. Of course I said yes. She and her fiancé, Rick, were very happy. Thing is, Carla and I do have a history. We went out on and off in college, but decided to stay friends. Then I met my wife, we got married, Carla met Rick, and now here they are. Now my wife knows I went out with Carla back in college and she didn't care. Carla still went to our wedding and everything. I never knew if Rick was told or not. It's not my relationship, therefore not my business to say anything, so I never did. Rick found out recently, and not in the best way. Not sure how, but from what I heard from friends is that one mutual friend told him, no idea why, we used to date.
Red flag for the Carla not telling him before they got engaged that, hey, I used to date this friend of mine. You know?
Yeah,
Why is she hiding that?
I guess maybe it just isn't a big deal to her,
You
or...
know all about all my exes.
That's true. Yeah, it seems like a red flag, you're right.
Yeah.
Not only that, but apparently Carla said a couple years ago she was still in love with me.
Ooh, that's why she didn't tell.
She was still in love with me when she was already dating Rick.
Oh, really? Oh, red flags for Carla, but yeah,
Yeah.
Now you see why she didn't tell him.
Yeah, that sentence got juicy, and then you like, oh, and then it got juicier.
Oh! Rick is going to find out eventually because she's still friends with this guy that she used to date and be in love with. So,
That's 100% why she never told Rick.
But Rick's going to find out. You need to tell him before it becomes a big thing.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Don't have actual confirmation if that's exactly what he was told.
Okay.
All Carla's told me is that Rick was told about our past and he's angry at her for never saying anything.
Rick is totally fair in that.
Yeah, I think so. It could have been not a big deal. And now it's a big
By
deal.
hiding it, you made it a big deal.
Right. It became quite a drama, and I didn't hear from her for over a month until now. She told me they're going to couples counseling and that the wedding is still on, but Rick requested I not attend. It sucks, but I totally get why he wouldn't be comfortable. Then I asked the obvious question. Where are they going to hold the wedding then? To my surprise, she said they still want it at our place.
Okay, that's crazy.
Rick said so too, and in my mind, I'm going... He doesn't want the guy who dated his fiancée years ago at the wedding, but he still wants the wedding at his house. My wife and I are expected to just not be at our home that weekend. And I told Carla no.
Right? Like they're just supposed to vacate the premises for this wedding to happen?
Yeah.
That's insane.
And let all these strangers wander around?
Yeah.
They're going to have to find someplace else since we're not going to simply leave our home to them for the weekend. Not only for safety reasons, but it just doesn't make sense. Rick doesn't want me around because he's not comfortable, but is comfortable enough to have their wedding at my house? They really want their wedding here, though, and because of that, I've been bugged by not only her, but also Rick and some friends who think I'm being a petty asshole for not letting them have the wedding here anymore. Honestly, don't think that I am. It just doesn't make sense at all to have to leave our own place for a wedding we're no longer welcome to, and leaving our home totally vulnerable. Still, being accused of sabotaging their wedding, and Rick believes it's the least I can do after everything. Am I the asshole?
Absolutely not. It's insane that they're like, we don't trust you to be around the bride, but we still want to use your premises.
Right?
You just go away. That's insane. Like, no.
I agree. You're not the asshole, but there is a little bit of me who has planned a wedding of being like, oh no, I can't find a venue at this point.
Yeah.
I can't move this. But no, you're not the asshole. They made the decision to uninvite you. They can make the decision to find a new venue.
Yeah, if they really need this venue, they can suck it up and just let you be there.
Mm-hmm.
Rick doesn't have to talk to you. She doesn't have to,
Right.
necessarily hang out with you that day. But you need to be there on your own property when all these strangers are here for a wedding.
Right? At an event like that?
Yeah.
There's somebody is going to wander into your house and destroy something.
Yeah. That's insane. Okay. Not the asshole. He makes all very good points about why he should not have to let them keep their venue there. If I'm not a good enough friend to be at your wedding, I'm not doing you any huge favors like letting you hold it at my place.
Yeah, that's a big favor.
Yeah.
That's a favor for somebody that you're very close friends with.
Mm-hmm.
Reddit agrees, not the asshole.
Okay.
Top comment. Rick doesn't want to get married anymore, but doesn't want to be the bad guy breaking up with his fiancée, so he's put her in an impossible position so he can get the sympathy when they split. Not the asshole. Yeah, and then another comment. Not the asshole. If he is uncomfortable by your presence, he is welcome to shell out a deposit or on short notice for another venue. No way in hell would I allow myself to be run off my own property by an insecure man to use as he sees fit, even just for a day. Malicious destruction on top of typical wedding party mess? No. No, thank you.
Yeah. I wasn't gonna say that Rick might destroy something on purpose just out of spite, because that seemed kind of mean. I don't know how evil of a person Rick is.
Reddit said it for you.
But it did cross my mind.
Right.
All right. I got another crazy mother-in-law story.
Ooh.
Would I be the asshole for telling my mother-in-law to get out of my home?
No?
Okay.
I have to say no.
I, 28 female, got married 3 years ago, 30 male. Before I got married, I owned a house, a decently sized home, 4-bed, 2.5 bath, and an in-law suite with 1 bed and 1 bath in the backyard.
Well, there's your problem. You named it an in-law suite.
Right?
You could have called it a guest house.
I have no kids of my own. My husband didn't have any kids either. I was kicked out of my home at 16 due to my mother not liking, well, my existence, I suppose. I've had a job since I was 14 and saved vigorously to build my home. I lucked out and ended up with an inheritance as well from my late grandfather, a piece of land approximately 10 acres as well as $600,000. With my savings and inheritance, I built my dream house. I had it built at the age of 22.
Oh, wow.
So she's doing really well for herself.
Sorry for your loss of your grandpa. He sounds like a cool guy.
Yeah. Fast forward to when I got married, my husband loved the house. It's whimsical, colorful, happy, bright, and a mixture of cottagecore and Hobbit vibes with a touch of dark academia.
Can you imagine what kind of house a 22-year-old with that budget would build?
Yeah, right? And it sounds like a nerdy
Yeah.
22-year-old with a big budget.
Cottagecore and Hobbit vibes, which are pretty close to the same thing, honestly. Just with rounder doors.
I love painting and have added a ton of details everywhere, like a small fox family painted on one of the walls or flowers around entryways. I made it a happy place for myself and my husband loved it. My husband and I moved in together. Combined, we have 4 cats. So she is living the life.
Yeah, right?
Now to the issue. My mother-in-law lost her husband about a year ago, and we offered her the in-law suite due to her overwhelming debt. She accepted and moved in. All was fine until recently. My husband and I were on vacation. We hired a pet sitter and were supposed to be gone 2 weeks. The pet sitter was a trusted friend of mine. We worked at the same office, and she's amazing. About 4 days into our vacation, she called me panicking. My mother-in-law hired painters to come into my home and paint the entire house.
Oh no. What? That's crazy.
Like painting over all of her little whimsical murals and details.
How is the mother-in-law paying the painter? She has overwhelming debt.
Right? My friend, the cat sitter, had come in the AM, fed and watered the cats, played with them, and went to work about an hour later. 8 hours later, when she was off work, she came back, and my living room, front hall, office, and kitchen were all painted. My friend found 3 cats locked in the connecting garage and cannot find the 4th. The garage has no AC, and it is at least 80 degrees Fahrenheit in my state right now.
Oh no. I mean, okay, 80's not the worst.
Yeah.
But it's not great.
And, like, did the cats have water? Probably not.
Probably not,
Sounds
right?
like, no, they just locked them in the garage.
It sounds like no if you're concerned about it, right?
Yeah. My husband is livid, as am I. We are still currently on vacation and haven't brought it up with mother-in-law yet. My husband said we should evict her for this, as it's a huge boundary cross. Like, she shouldn't be in the house, and she's supposed to be in the suite, and she knows this. It has been discussed. She is...
It has been discussed. You are not allowed in the main house.
Which means she's already pushing boundaries, and they had to set up a very clear-cut boundary, right?
Right. She's
already made this a problem before.
I love you, Mom. You just can't be in my house. They had to set a boundary. You can't wander into the house.
Uh-huh.
You're right. There's definitely been issues before.
She has made comments calling my home childish and immature, but never mentioned painting it. I want to cut my vacation short and deal with this, but I'm worried that I might be overreacting. I am not good with social dynamics or interactions, so I'm struggling to understand whether or not I'm going too far.
You need to cut your vacation short and deal with this.
Right?
Absolutely. Somebody is destroying your house. You're not going to enjoy the rest of your vacation. You're just going to be panicking and mad the whole vacation. Get back home.
Okay, so Reddit, am I overreacting, or is this as messed up as it feels?
It's insanely messed up for so many reasons that I don't know where to start. Where is mother-in-law getting this money? Where is
she getting the audacity?
The audacity. Yeah, where is she getting the audacity? Mother-in-law is clearly not trusted enough to pet sit. Even though she lives on the property, you have to call up your friend and ask him to stay at your house for a week. When you said we got a pet sitter, I'm like, well, why can't mother-in-law do it? She's right there.
I didn't even think of that.
Yeah. And then it became very clear why mother-in-law can't do that.
Your light just went out.
Shouldn't have turned it on early.
Okay, hold on.
Hold on. Let me get a plug. Well, that'll just turn on at some point during our thing.
But yeah. Weird hair.
This is great. This is everything's good.
But yeah, definitely cut your vacation short. Also because your cat is missing.
Right? I forgot about the missing cat.
Go home and save your kitties.
Yeah, it's hot out. Go find your cat.
Okay, there's some updates. Update, husband called his brothers and uncles. They're headed to our home to get her to leave. It's only been an hour since I posted this, so there's not a huge update, but I have contacted an attorney and he said I 100% have legal grounds to sue for B&E, vandalism, and to sue her for the paint costs, emotional damage, and to put a trespass on her.
Absolutely.
Hubby and I booked a flight for Saturday to head home. I will be home by Sunday morning. I'll update then. Second update.
I feel like there's tons of things to comment on, but I can't. Give me the update.
Both my and my husband's credit cards are empty. Between the both of us, we had $10K in available credit that we had set aside for emergencies. Hubby called mother-in-law and asked her what the heck is going on, and she had the audacity to reply with, I raised you, so you owe me the money.
No, what? What is mother-in-law going through some sort of life crisis? What is happening?
I just think mother-in-law is really bad with money because she has huge debt herself.
She 100% is, yeah, you're right.
She has no money herself to keep up her bad spending habits, so now she's stealing from her son and daughter-in-law.
Oh my god. Oh, that's the worst way you could have paid for that painter.
I don't think it's all... A painter doesn't cost $20,000, does it?
I have no idea. It depends a lot on how much she's having painted and things. But I would assume if she's willing to steal for painting, then she's willing to steal for other things.
Continuing on.
Yeah.
I'm baffled, beyond confused. My husband's brothers and uncles have contacted the police. She's refusing to leave the suite and has locked herself inside. The police are saying it's a civil matter, and we would have to serve her with an eviction notice to get her out due to her refusing to leave. Okay, evicting her is a civil problem. But her stealing $10,000 of their credit card money
is not.
That is a felony.
Yeah, no, evicting is a civil matter. If you decide to press charges for literally everything else, it is at that point no longer.
Yeah. One of my brother-in-laws found my cat under the garden shed. He's safe, thank goodness.
I was so worried about the cat. I couldn't comment on other things because I just wanted you to get to the cat.
Yeah. Okay, and that's where the updates end for now.
Okay, that's insane. I don't even know where to begin with this one, Kristie. Like, mother-in-law clearly does not want to go peacefully, but I feel like her, OP and her husband maybe don't want to press criminal charges. They just want her to go.
Mm-hmm.
But she keeps making it harder and harder not to press criminal charges, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you are not the asshole. You are clearly not the asshole in this scenario. You did mother-in-law a big favor by letting her live, probably rent-free. Usually when mother-in-law goes into debt, she gets, like, the small room in the house, and she got a whole little house to herself.
Yeah. One of the comments says, yeah, $10,000 in theft is a felony. Since it's fraudulent charges, OP will likely be able to get the money back, but mother-in-law will have to go to jail. Which is fine. It's free lodging and meals for her broke ass. I was like, at this point, yeah, maybe sending her to jail is the best option because you're evicting her. She's in huge amount of debt and she's going to have nowhere to go.
Yeah.
Send her to jail.
If she doesn't have another child to go and live with, you're kind of throwing her out on the streets, aren't you?
Apparently she does have other kids because husband called his brothers and uncles. They're headed to the house to get her to leave.
Okay.
But will those brothers let her live with them after they've seen what they did to this guy?
That's... So, for some reason, it didn't click in my head that brothers and uncles were her brothers and her sons. I just thought these were... I don't know, somehow in my head it translated to those are, like, not her relatives.
Yeah, so crazy mother-in-law's sons and brothers all came to try and get her out of this little apartment suite.
Tried to calm this down. They kept it within the family.
I do think she's having some kind of mental break, almost.
Absolutely.
It seems like once she locked herself in the in-law suite and was like, I'm not coming out!
Yeah, this is clearly some sort of crisis. Or comboed with bad management. You know, there's other things, but...
Maybe it's time for her to go into an old person's home.
She might not have to go to jail if she does.
Yeah, but who's going to pay for it?
Well, they can...
Because she broke.
If you can get the credit card debt back to some extent, right?
Mm-hmm.
Being like, hey, if you're trying to get around the jail part, you might be able to do some sort of, you know, she's clearly having some sort of mental issues.
Yeah.
Sorry, mother-in-law, you've put us into a weird situation here.
I don't know what you do, but yeah.
That's insane. I'm glad the cat was okay. That's the most important part of the story.
Yeah. Reading these stories makes me very happy that your family is not psychotic.
Right? It really puts,
like, nice, normal in-laws.
It puts
a very
so many
nice
things into
mother-in-law. Very chill father-in-law. This is so nice.
Yeah. Yeah, I really like you, and I like your family.
All right. Well, that's my last story for the day, so thank you for tuning in.
Yep. If you liked this, give us a follow, and we'll see you next week. Peace out. A-Town.
What's A-Town?
Asshole
Town?
Yeah, I like it. Peace out. Peace out, assholes. It was something in middle school. Was literally like, peace out, A-Town. I'm pretty sure I'm getting it wrong.
I've never heard of that,
Okay.
so...